Entire shipment of basmati rice from Haryana was thrown into ocean. They shall
also been a professor at Pilani.
Right. Which was propelling the Mangalyaan rocket at the time of launch. So the Prime Minister National Award देगा तो बहुत अच्छा होगा.
Where do you think India stands in all of this?
It is not a matter of Sunita Williams. It is a matter of the project where they took 2 astronauts.
What are your thoughts on Elon Musk? Hello everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Tea with Aadhitea. Today with me I have a very special guest, Dr. Anil Jain sir, who has been a professor at Pilani for 28 years and is also an entrepreneur and has made a lot of instruments which are also used in big projects like Chandrayaan 2 and 3. So hello sir, how are you?
Very fine, welcome.
So first of all, could you please tell us about that part that you have created for all these missions? Let's start with Chandrayaan mission first.
In fact, we made certain calibration standards. Let me tell you what is a calibration standard. A calibration standard is an instrument which measures a given parameter of temperature or pressure or force or velocity, any physical parameter. Our instrument was there to measure the parameter of force. This was a machine which was used for the purposes of measuring the thrust of the engine which was propelling the Mangalyaan project or Mangalyaan rocket at the time of launch.
So it was same for Mangalyaan also, Agni mission also?
It was same for all the 3 projects.
Okay.
Capacities were different.
Okay.
For the purposes of Agni missile, we made a machine which was for 75 ton thrust capacity. But for Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, we provided a machine which could measure 450 ton worth of force. So that was the difference. But both the projects, that is Agni missile and Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan, they used the force calibrating system which was meant for measuring the accuracy of the thrust generated by the rocket at the time of launch.
Okay. जैसे 3 थे, then they were there to measure that amount of thrust.
Yes. Let me tell you a significance. Suppose the satellite is ready for launching. Our instrument was not used at the time of launching. No. When the prototype of that particular rocket was made, a small prototype, it was tested on the ground.
Okay.
We have prepared motor to generate a thrust of 50 ton. There will be a rocket, it's called prototype, which will be only for 5 ton. And that much of fuel will be there. So it will be tested whether 5 ton of worth of force is generated by the fuel entered into it. So I mean to say that this machine was used for ground testing before the launching of the satellite.
Okay. और कितना टाइम लगा अराउंड इसे बनाने के लिए, पूरा शुरू से लेकर एंड तक?
हमें इसमें तकरीबन 12 महीने लगे.
हो गया 12 महीने. 12
महीनों के अंदर हमने ये इक्विपमेंट पूरा किया. इसके अंदर हमारे को एक अमेरिकन कंपनी की बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग टेक्निकल कोलैबोरेशन मिला, जिन्होंने की मेजर मशीन का स्ट्रक्चर तैयार किया और हमने इस पूरी की पूरी मशीन को चंद्रयान मिशन से पहले इंडियन स्पेस रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन श्रीहरिकोटा के अंदर इंस्टॉलेशन किया.
ओके.
यानी अगर चंद्रयान मिशन 2019 में गया और 2023 में गया तो हमारी मशीन तो 2011 में लग गई थी.
अच्छा.
क्योंकि उनको भी तो अपने प्रोजेक्ट के लिए 7-8 साल चाहिए थे उसके डिजाइन को और उसके प्रोटोटाइप को कंप्लीट करने.
Okay.
And for 8 years, from 2011 to 2019, they were constantly using this machine for checking the various prototypes of rockets made by them.
Okay. Very interesting. You have also been awarded by the Prime Minister. तो वो कैसा experience था?
एक्सपीरियंस तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर नेशनल अवार्ड देगा तो बहुत अच्छा होगा. पर ये अवार्ड इसलिए मिला दैट दिस वाज एन अवार्ड instituted by the government of India for micro, small and medium enterprises to encourage a micro enterprise or a small enterprise or a medium enterprise to produce quality products. And this is a selection made at all India level. So this was a national award for electronic process control instrumentation given to us at Gyan Bhavan in 2004 by Dr. Manmohan Singh, then Prime Minister of India. Then there was another award in the year 2008 that was given by Mr. Veerbhadra Singh, who was the Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise.
You have also been a professor at Pilani.
Right.
So how was that experience also like?
In fact, in our country, industry is isolated from the universities. Most of the time you will find out businessmen are focusing only on their business. Right from the beginning, I have a flair for teaching. That brought me closer to the National Research Laboratory and to the universities. Since I did my PhD from the Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, the professors itself told me there कि जैन साहब पढ़ा सकते हो स्टूडेंट्स को और इंडस्ट्री का एक्सपीरियंस ला सकते. Why don't you take up a visiting faculty or a adjunct professor position? So initially I have been going there as a visiting faculty. After 10 years, they elevated the status to an adjunct professor. So it was a very good experience and the students used to feel thrilled because most of the time when the professor teach, they talk all theoretical. They are not able to connect the theory with the practical applications. So students most of the time are dozing in the class. उनको सुस्ती आ रही, वो कह रहे कहाँ फंस गए हम. I ensured it that the instrumentation should be made a pleasurable subject for them, and they used to enjoy very much.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a mutually delightful experience both for the students as well as.
Okay, like can you give us an example of like how you used to?
On the very first day, there were 90 students in the class. So I asked them, how many students have brought the instruments with them today in the classroom?
To study.
Mm-hmm. All of them were stunned. There was a pin drop silence. So one student said, sir, we have not been told that we have to bring any instrument in this classroom. We are only bringing our notebook and we have our pen and pencil. We have no instruments. Manaka, you are telling a lie. The whole class has brought the instrument with them. So I give you another opportunity. So sir, we honestly tell you, we have not brought any instrument. Manaka, each one of you is wearing a digital watch. Are you not measuring the time with it? And everyone's watch should be having a second timer also, or minutes and seconds. So if you are measuring time, it means you are having an instrument with you, because what is an instrument? An instrument is a device which measures a physical parameter. You are measuring time. So the entire class burst into laughter. They say, yes, sir, we are having. But all of you are having instruments.
Now all of them are convinced.
So this is how you can connect. They don't feel bored.
Yeah. Like the main aspect is teaching them.
Teaching them and connecting them to the mainstream of the applications in day to day.
Great, amazing. What do you think is the role of quality and standards in our day-to-day life?
Very, very relevant question. Quality and standards is now a mandatory requirement all over the world for anything you produce, right from the shoes, to the spectacles, to a wristwatch, to an automobile, to a blood pressure pump, to a digital thermometer, or to a glass thermometer, anything. Any product, even I should say cosmetics, your food grade, all these things are supposed to conform to standards. And there is a body which is called International Organization for Standardization. It is established and set up in Geneva, Switzerland, and it writes the standards for every field and then circulated all around the world. Every organization in a given segment has to implement those standards which are issued by ISO, International Organization for Standardization. For example, if you are using any medical device, you can use a blood pressure pump, you can use a stethoscope, you can use a digital temperature indicator, you can use a ECG machine, you can have an MRI machine, you can have a CT scanner, you can have a, stenting machine. Every medical device today should be a calibrated device. Calibrated device means it should be standardized with a standard, against a standard which is certified by National Physical Laboratory of India.
So, where do you think India stands in all of this?
I should be very honest with you that as far as the quality of hardware is concerned, we have to travel a very long way. For example, even our wheat and rice, it has been found to contain lead, antimony, bismuth, which is produced in Haryana and Punjab, because there is industrial lead discharge and other chemicals coming up. And using that canal water, the farmers are irrigating their fields. And there is a substantial amount of or concentration of these lead, antimony, bismuth, copper, which is not permitted. Do you know that our entire shipment of basmati rice from Haryana was thrown into ocean in Saudi Arabia? They banned the Indian basmati rice for 2 years.
Even when Indian spice was banned in like other country, I read a news about
Do you know recently Dr. Reddy's laboratory and Baxi pharmaceutical products, they were banned in United States of America. In Gamibia, children were given some syrup, cough syrup, and so many children died. Now, internationally, it means our drugs are not conforming to the quality standards.
What do you think can be the steps taken as common people?
Our mindset. You make as many standards as you want, but is your mindset prepared to adhere to those standards? You are Aditi. You work in an Indian organization where this चलता है चलो चलो पास करो पास करो पास करो फटाफट करो जल्दी करो चलता है कोई नहीं देखता. But the same Aditi, when you are working in Boeing Aerospace Company, or you are working in Dassault in France, or you are working in Apple, or you are working in Microsoft, they shall not permit even 0.001% error in your product, in your area of quality inspection. They know that if you have been controlling the quality and if there is a rejection, the onus will come upon you.
So coming back to the science point of view, I am very eager to ask you one question.
बोलिए.
Will Kalpana, I'm sorry, not Kalpana Chawla, will Sunita Williams return? Do you think so?
This is a $1 million, very, very tricky and difficult question, because she was to stay there
Yeah.
till I think June of 2024. Now she is to stay in a environment which is microgravity environment, where it has been observed that all the metabolic parameters will be very severely impacted, whether it is heart rate or it is functioning of the various body parts or brain cells or cognitive powers, all those things, blood circulation, consumption and assimilation of nutrients which are given, वो सारी की सारी चीजें बहुत सीवियरली इम्पैक्ट कर रही है, क्योंकि उनका तो स्टार लाइनर तो वापस आ गया, वो तो अभी तो स्पेस में ही है अपने मॉड्यूल में, अभी उनको वहां से लाना है। और बहुत ही ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन, और मेरे लिए सच बात है, इस वजह से बारे में बताना मुश्किल है, क्योंकि ना तो सारे पैरामीटर नहीं जानता, वहां तो उन लोगों की जान फंसी हुई है, क्योंकि इट इज नॉट ए मैटर ऑफ सुनीता विलियम, इट इज ए मैटर ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट वेयर दे took 2 astronauts, and if unfortunately by any chance this time they are not able to bring their astronauts back, it will be a very serious challenge to the reputation and reliability and credibility of their space missions. So NASA, National Aeronautics Space Administration of the USA, is very seriously gripped. It's not Sunita Williams and the other astronaut. It is in fact the stake of US space program which is at stake. So
in your view, आपको लगता है that we have enough technology to bring them back?
I think India is to some extent helping them. Indian Space Research Organization told NASA and US government that we can help you to support your efforts to bring the true astronauts. क्योंकि मैं तो भाई देखो ना तो इसरो में हूँ यहाँ पर, ना ही नासा में, अंदर की इंट्रिकेसी नहीं पता, पर मेरी हंच फीलिंग है they will be able to bring back both of them. Your question is very relevant because everybody is very anxious. It's not a question of 2 human lives. It's a question of a research mission which these 2 astronauts have completed there, and they must.
Also, what are your thoughts on Elon Musk?
Elon Musk, I should say that he has made a lot of investment in the electric vehicles segment. But I understand that somehow he is withdrawing from that segment.
How?
I understand that investment on electric vehicles by Elon Musk is probably being diluted. But I should say there is a word in business called maverick. Elon Musk is a maverick. I think he has already launched a spacecraft. He is venturing into the field of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
He has already
taken over X.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is already having remarkable ideas on electrical vehicles. I think here is a person who can bring metamorphic transformation in the lives of all of us and in our lifetime. इस तरह के जो लोग हैं, Musk or the persons like Steve Jobs, these are the people who have metamorphically changed the human civilization.
Elon Musk is having a mission कि उन्हें मार्स पे जाना है.
हाँ.
Do you think वो कर पाएंगे?
बड़ा मुश्किल है, बहुत मुश्किल है. Because the amount of investments and the amount of team, the size of the team, interdisciplinary scientists, to my random knowledge and to the best of my knowledge, it's a mammoth task. You see, today the space program of US is being funded by the government of USA. A single entrepreneur, to my mind, it's a very, very difficult task. You invest the money and you should have the courage to lose that money if the mission fail.
Yeah.
This state can afford. The United States can afford. But for an entrepreneur, for example, 5 years back, there were satellite telephones which were launched. Satellite telephones failed. Do you know that satellite telephones were launched?
What exactly are satellite telephones?
A satellite telephone was that whether you are in space or you are on ground, you are able to have the connectivity all over the world along with the navigational capabilities.
Okay.
अभी अगर आप आज ऊपर हैं तो आपका डिजिटल टेलीफोन बढ़िया काम कर रहा है. But the moment you board an aircraft and it becomes airborne, you cannot use your.
Yeah.
At that time, the satellite facility of the Wi-Fi or internet of the aircraft, which is now available to the passengers at a very high price. You can use it, but that satellite telephone was that you are sitting in the aircraft, and sitting in the aircraft you can use your own phone. That satellite telephones have failed. So my point is that in our lifetime we shall witness. But let me tell you one thing, and I must tell you, Aditi, one thing today. Artificial intelligence shall not be able to replace the creativity of the human mind in the coming 100 years.
Never.
It cannot replace your creativity of mind in science and technology or in imagination. It cannot create the imagination of Archimedes. It cannot have the imagination of Albert Einstein when he just imagined and he wrote the theory of relativity. It cannot have the imagination of Ramanujan. 100 years back, he wrote those quotations and those equations. Whose solutions are being found out today. He wrote those mathematical equations, which scientists, they were concerning the black hole. Ramanujan was not a PhD. He was simply a port clerk in Chennai. But he was a genius in his own right. He died probably at the age of 39. So my point is, I should tell you very clearly that human mind, human creativity, human imagination cannot be replaced by artificial intelligence by any step.
So, like, what do you think about the new kids that are coming? Will they be able to make it in such an environment जहाँ पर artificial intelligence वगैरह जैसी चीजें हैं?
It's a big challenge, but this is a reality also. This is a reality also. Whenever science and technology progress, right, it has two shades, dark shade and bright shade. Now, it is the responsibility of the individual which shade he prefers. You have a digital telephone, you have a mobile phone, you can use it for the purposes of making a podcast, speaking to your teacher for online lecture, talking to your distant relatives stationed in United States of America. You can also read the news, update, and you can also write a good blog and put it on LinkedIn, which is a professional website, or even if you desire, you can write it on a Facebook. Okay, these are the productive utilities of the mobile. Other thing is that you get up in the morning and start sending good morning messages. You send good morning message to 300 people and 100 people send you good morning messages or some sermon. Okay, you can use your mobile the moment you are vacant and talk to somebody, gossip. You can gossip for 1 hour. Nobody can check you. Or everything is silent in the night and then you suddenly start scrolling the screen. अच्छा, इजराइल में क्या हुआ? हजबुल्ला ने क्या किया? अच्छा, अब वो डोनाल्ड ट्रंप जीत रहा है या हार रहा है? You will spend full 1 hour. It is very difficult to control. I tell you myself, if at all, after 10 o'clock, I start reading the news on my mobile, let me tell you, I waste 1 hour. I should have retired for the day at 10 o'clock. हो गई, हमारी राइटिंग की हैबिट कमजोर हो गया, हमारे हैंड राइटिंग बहुत कमजोर हो गए. I think we really need to cultivate these good things. That is, we should write something with our handwriting. We should write some good essay. We should write some good poem. We should participate in a declamation contest in our institution or a debate. You are conducting a podcast. Very good. It's a very good communication tool that you are talking to someone. You consider that the person is good in his field and you are sharing with your audience. Very good. So these are the brighter aspects. Choice is ours. दोनों एस्पेक्ट अवेलेबल है. आज भी ऐसे लोग हैं जो कि डिजिटल युग भी है पर फिर भी वो आईआईटी के अंदर टॉपर आ जाते हैं. वो कहते हैं हम तो अपने आप को डिसिप्लिन रख. So Science gives you opportunity. Technology gives you opportunity. It depends. How do you use it?
I would like to conclude this podcast with one last question. Since you are an entrepreneur, so what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs seeing this, or maybe who are aspiring?
My one word will be anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur, he should choose the service sector. This is minimum risk and possibly higher gains. For instance, I give you the example. You take the example of an attorney, advocate, chartered accountant, teacher, a software engineer. All these people are giving services. A service is personal centered, person centered, where you require minimum machinery, minimum equipment, minimum staff. तो मेरा तो कहना ये है कि if anybody wants to start his own business, he should start from the service sector. अब जितने भी स्टार्टअप्स हैं आप देखिए, चाहे स्विगी है, चाहे ओयो है, ये सारे सर्विस सेक्टर हैं. तो मेरा तो एक ही वन लाइन मैसेज है. If someone wants to become an entrepreneur, he should opt for service sector. That is relatively risk-free.
Also, would you like to recommend some books or podcasts?
I would like to say, today our quality of life has gone down drastically. We should read certain books which are very simple and very inspiring. So, number one, you should read biography.
Any specific you would like to recommend?
Recently, I read the biography of Steve Jobs.
Amazing one.
Huh?
Even I read that.
I read the biography of Thomas Bata, who was the founder of Bata Shoe Company.
Okay.
He was coming from Poland, East Europe. We should read the biographies.
Your top 2 recommendations, 1 or 2, जो best लगे आपको.
Biographies में.
हाँ बराबर.
Biographies में मुझे अभी तक जो सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग और स्पाइसी बायोग्राफी लगी वो लगी स्टीव जॉब्स की. वेरी स्पाइसी, बिंदास, fiery, and extremely precision oriented entrepreneur. I was highly touched by his energy and he was cruel, he was brutal as far as the focus on quality was concerned.
The writer did a pretty good job. The Walter Isaacson.
But he did a very good job.
Yeah. So
And similarly, there are certain books I will recommend which enrich the quality of life. Hints to Self-Culture
okay.
by Nana Hardayal. What is simple language में? Importance of Living by Lin Yu Tan. ये Chinese philosopher हुए हैं. Bertrand Russell, Conquest of Happiness and Quite Flows the Dawn. ये उसका 7 volumes का novel है. And Quite Flows the Dawn. इस तरह की किताबों से हमारी लाइफ में रिचनेस आती. हम लोगों ने ना पढ़ना बंद कर. पढ़ें, जरूर पढ़ें. अच्छी किताबें लाएं, पढ़ें. मैं तो कहता हूँ 10 किताब लाएं, पढ़ी एक ही जाती है. पर वो एक किताब में पढ़ी जाएगी तो आपके माइंड में सबकॉन्शियस के अंदर एम्बेड है.
With this, I would like to conclude with the podcast. Sir, it was lovely having you on the show. Got to know so much new insights and thank you so much for accepting my invite. I am really happy and also got to know so much about these things.
I must say that it was surely an honor and pleasure for me to participate in this program, and I wish you the best of luck. Rather, I must say, it's a very encouraging for me to see that at such an upcoming class, you are probably in class 11.
10th.
You are in 10th.
Yeah.
And you are creating a podcast of your own series. This is something fantastic. I must congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.